Now, before we delve into some weapon-grade lefty losing it in the great state of Victoria, let's take a minute and check in on the woman who is one geriatric heartbeat away from becoming the most powerful human on the planet. Here, Kamala Harris explains community banks. This should be good.
So the importance of community banks is they are, as they are called, they're in the community, led by members of the community. They are people who understand the capacity of the community, the needs of the community, the culture of the community.
Did you get that, boys? Community banks are in the community and they're banks, and that's why they're called community banks, unlike other banks that are not in the community. I hope that's crystal clear now. She always sounds like a school kid who's doing a book report on a book they've clearly not bothered to read. And of course, she repeated that favourite line that she utters every time someone is silly enough to put a microphone in her hand.
You must have and know that you are applauded for having the ability to see what can be unburdened by what has been.
Yes.
To see what can be seen without being unburdened by what has been seen. Makes sense to me.
It's a good line. It's worth repeating every single time you give a speech. And I mentioned the geriatric leader of the free world. James will bring us his latest antics at the G7 summit in just a few minutes. But let's catch up on what he was up to earlier in the week. Just look at his robust style here. Don't worry though, because he was much sharper a little bit later. Just watch him boogie away here with Kamala and some bearded bloke in a sequin dress. I wish I had time to show you the full clip. It's not manipulated. That was just, everyone around him dancing, and he is frozen in time. This week we also had the Donald's birthday. 45 celebrated his 78th birthday. Oh, we love that. That was at a recent rally in the Bronx. But let's get to some local shenanigans. And this week we found out, in case there was any doubt, just who calls the shots in Victoria. And it ain't the Premier, Jacinta Allan. The bully boys of the militant union movement are running riot. Bold as brass, militant unionists are openly threatening individuals, companies, and the country's biggest sporting organisation. If the AFL hierarchy thought their relentless leftist activism would save them from the likes of John Setka, the Victorian boss of the CMFMU, then they were sadly mistaken. What we saw this week, his threats against the league and its head of umpiring, Stephen McBurney, go beyond bullying and intimidation. Even outlaw bikie gangs are a little bit more subtle in their standover tactics. They certainly don't announce to the media with on-the-record statements what they will do to punish those who do not submit to their outrageous demands. What the powerful CFMMU did this week, with the full support of the Electrical Trades Union, the Australian Manufacturing Workers Union and the Plumbers Union, was tantamount to extortion. These unionists want Stephen McBurney fired, banished, not just from the AFL, but from any meaningful employment, because in his previous role at the Australian Building and Construction Commission, he initiated legal proceedings against the CFMEU, and that cost the union millions. Rightly so, I would have thought. But now the unions want payback, and they are openly threatening the AFL and anyone else who would hire McBurney. Let's just take a look at some of the things Setka has said this week. This is a quote. This is going to cost the AFL a lot of effing money. I hope it's worth it. Projects without our full cooperation are going to be an effing misery for them. They will regret the day they ever employed him. He also said this of McBurney, who the union put on an unwanted dead or alive poster. They just don't walk away from a role like that. Cost a union millions of dollars and just think they can walk away into the effing sunset. It doesn't work that way. This is the real world. We go after our enemies, and he was our number one enemy, and we will pursue him until the ends of the earth. Put to one side that what Setka is threatening to inflict on the AFL seems unlawful, and consider how brazen and emboldened these characters have become under Labor, that they would openly threaten major projects, including the proposed stadium in Hobart. They're proving once again why the Australian Building and Construction Commission, abolished by the Anthony Albanese government, was necessary. And where's the Victorian Premier? Let's not forget, just a few weeks ago, Jacinta Allen appointed Labor MP Tim Richardson as the Parliamentary Secretary for Men's Behaviour Change. What's she's got to say about Setka being in this powerful role after pleading guilty to charges of harassing a woman and breaching a court order? Nothing, Jacinta? Labor loves to virtue signal about the treatment of women, but they fail to act when faced with real examples of toxic masculinity from within the union movement. If Labor was serious about denouncing reprehensible behaviour, they could start by declining to take the CFMEU's tainted millions.